Hello, happy people. This is Mr. Wilcox coming to you again from my kitchen table. Um, you guys have talked about the power rule, the product rule, and the chain rule. And today we're going to take all of those and we're going to apply it to trig derivatives. And we're only going to use the derivative of sine and the derivative of cosine. So here are the derivative of sine and cosine. I'm going to pause here so you can pause the video and write it in your notebook. When you're ready, hit play again. So the derivative of the sine function, if we have the sine of x, its derivative would be cosine of x. And if we are taking the derivative of cosine x, we're going to get the negative sine of x or opposite sine of x. So we're going to use those today, and we're going to go through some examples, and we're going to go through even an example of using the chain rule with trig and using the product rule with trig. So the first one is just using the rules we just learned. So if we're going to find the derivative of 2 sine x, the derivative of our function is going to be 2 times the derivative of sine of x, which is cosine of x, and that is it. So if you use the product rule, you could add the derivative of 2, which is 0, so we don't need to do that. If we just have a coefficient out front, we just multiply it by the derivative. So our derivative of sine x is cosine x. We have a coefficient out front of 2, so we get 2 cosine x. All right. All right, next example, we have f of x equals x plus the cosine of x. So just like before, when we took and we made polynomials with the power rule and we just took the derivative of each thing and added it together, that's what we're going to do with trig. So, hang on. All right, so we're going to take the derivative of x first, and the derivative of x is 1. And we're going to add on the derivative of cosine, which is negative sine x. So if we simplify that, we have 1 minus the sine of x. So our derivative of x plus cosine x is 1 minus sine of x. Bam. All right, next example is f of x equals the sine to the fourth of x. This is using the chain rule. So remember, I'm going to rewrite the original function first. So f of x, if we have sine to the fourth of x, what we're really doing is we're taking the sine of x and we're taking it to the fourth power. But remember, when we write powers on trig functions, we put it inside. So right now, this is to find the derivative, we can use the chain rule. And the chain rule, remember, says to bring down this power, keep what's inside the parentheses the same, take one power away, and then multiply by the derivative inside. So the derivative of sine is cosine. So if we simplify our answer, we have 4 sine cubes of x times the cosine of x. So that is our derivative. So bam, that's an example using the chain rule with a trig function. Remember, we just bring our power down, subtract 1, keep what's in the parentheses the same, and multiply by the derivative of what's inside the parentheses. All right, I have one more example for you, and this is using the product rule with trig. So we have f of x equals x sine of x. So remember to use the product rule. To find the derivative, we take the derivative of the first. So the derivative of x is 1 times the second, so times sine x, plus the first function, x, times the derivative of the second. So the derivative of sine is cosine. So if we simplify our answer, we get sine of x plus x times the cosine of x. And so that is our derivative. All right, so that's finding the derivative of sine and cosine. And we did examples of when you have to add, when you have to use the chain rule, and when you have to use the product rule. So I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all healthy. And I hope you all have a great day.